Thank you, Finbar. Man, massive round of applause for Finbar, everyone. What he said when I first got to Brisbane, he was one of the first guys that booked me as an MC, and I just come out of like a fucking 8-month meth binge, you know, and I was like, I'll come MC your room, man. I'm a professional, and yeah, and he was like, what the fuck, and I was like homeless as well. And then I got banned from his room. This is my amends. I'm sorry. And then he banned me from his room because I called a guy in a wheelchair who was a comic on stage. I called him. I said, before I brought him on stage, I didn't know he was retarded. That's what I said. I said, I'm sorry, I didn't know you were retarded. So that's how, and now he's opening for me. So look, how good is that? It's beautiful, but man, I don't know. Would anyone else in the audience tonight, would anyone else describe their lives as unmanageable? Yeah. I think that's why a couple of us know each other. But yeah. Oh, I know a great group of people. My hairdresser. Talk to us after the show. We're all here. And but no. I would describe my life as unmanageable. I know. I reckon the life in general is unmanageable. Like, you know, like a lot of like Northern Englishers have been joining ISIS recently. Have you heard that? A lot of Northern Englishers joining ISIS. ISIS will like reach out to these guys on Twitter and convince them to join the Islamic State, which makes me think that the Syrian-Iraqi border would be a lot like the Australian outback. You know, full of Northern English backpackers. Except this time they're not fucking fruit picking. This time they're like, Allah Akbar, you know? Like, heard under Sharia law, you can have like 7 wives. Well, don't mind a bit of that. You know what I'm saying? But like Australian true crime, like that like true crime in general is unmanageable. Is anyone here a massive fan of true crime? Or did a lot of you just commit true crime? I think a lot of you committed true crime, and that is how we know each other. I was watching a documentary on that Ivan Milat. Remember him? Yes. Yeah, I was watching a documentary on that Ivan Milat, and they were interviewing the main investigator involved in the case. And the main investigator said, what we knew at the time, by the nature of the crimes, is that the suspect we were looking for was bisexual, you know? And I don't necessarily think the fact that Ivan Milat chose to rape and murder both women and men necessarily makes him bisexual. You know, like, I don't ever think Ivan Milat was ever just raping and murdering women, and then he thought, I'm lying to myself. You know, like Ivan Milat, my pronouns are they, them. Please respect them while I break your spine and rape your ass. Oh, man. I would describe my life as unmanageable. Up until very recently, my life was unmanageable. So this is me just a few months ago. Actually, there's dates on it. So let's see what I was like just a few months ago. This is when I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act. I was sectioned under the Mental Health Act. There's a couple of videos of it. All right, let's go. I was like, Instagram needs to know about this. So let's go. This is my business page for comedy, by the way. But anyway, you know, let's go.
My patient, involuntary. I'm not allowed to leave under the law. The law has decided that I must stay at the Royal Prince Alfred Hospital. And I've also been arrested and been to court.
They said something stupid to a police officer, and this is how they're treated. And aren't we meant to have seatbelts? Because like everything's just like moving about. Like I thought seatbelts were part of the...
It's all just a waste of my time, and I had every intention. Look, I was going to make dal for my friend. All I needed was tomato. Had every intention to live. I showed them my yogurt, my breakfast.
Yeah. So yeah, up until but even up until then, my life has always been unmanageable. Like, it's always been, I would describe as like you know that Osama bin Laden. Remember him? Oi, rest in peace, brother. Oi, he had a point. We won't get into it, but I was reading up about that Osama bin Laden, and I read that Osama bin Laden used to read poetry to his kids before they went to sleep at night. You know, that's not a great thing to find out. You know, that the guy that orchestrated 9/11 did a better job at parenting than my dumbass father ever did. Like while Osama bin Laden was reading poetry to his kids at night time, my dad had abandoned us and was in Bali getting a tattoo that said loyalty. But my mum used to drink while pregnant with me. Anyone else's parents drink while pregnant with them? Yeah. Yeah, my mum used to drink while pregnant with me. You know, she's Irish Catholic, of course, and she always tells me this story about when she was in Thailand and she was drinking while pregnant with me, and a Thai sex worker came up to her and said, you know, you really shouldn't be drinking while pregnant. And my mum always tells this story, like, Shan, can you believe the audacity of that woman to tell me what to do when she's a feckin' prostitute, you know? And it's like, Mum, if a sex worker in a third world country tells you not to do something, you probably shouldn't fucking do it, you know? You probably shouldn't fucking do it. But that led to complications in my birth, man. It led to complications in my birth, and I ended up having to be born via cesarean because the doctor said that I'd spun around in the stomach and I'd accidentally got the umbilical cord tied around my neck. But I'm not sure if that was an accident, you know? Or if I was just like making early life choices. Just the early signs of the unmanageable. Yeah, but and then I ended up, the oxygen didn't get to my brain, man. The oxygen didn't get to my brain. I ended up being born with severe ADHD and dyslexia. I was actually diagnosed with the most severe case of ADHD my psychiatrist had ever seen, you know? So it's good to know that I'm the best at something. You know, yeah, but I got put in the special needs class when I was in school. I was put in the special needs class. And we'd always have these youth workers come into the special needs class, and they'd always say, you know, don't let you being in the special needs class get in the way of your self-esteem. And it's like, look, that's all well and good. But the chick sitting next to me is shoving pencils up her pussy. You know, and she's getting better marks than me in maths. So don't tell me to have high self-esteem. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know. I remember in school, like school was fucked. It's fucked being a teenager, you know, because you feel so ugly, because you are so ugly, and it's fucked being a teenager, you know. I always remember like they'd always bring like those like motivational speakers to like come and talk. Like, they'd always bring someone to the school to come and talk to everyone, and it'd always just be someone who's just like a bit more fucked than a 14-year-old. Like, do you remember that cunt? Like, he's always got no arms or legs or some shit. And he's like, it's going to be okay, guys. Well, he doesn't do that, but... and it's kind of like the teachers are saying, like, yeah, we know things are pretty fucked right now, but, you know, just look at this guy. Like, you know, you wouldn't be able to cut your wrists if you had no arms or legs now, would you? No, but my ADHD and my daddy issues mean that I got poor judgment, you know, believe it or not. And I've always had poor judgment. Like my best friend growing up in school, the first thing she said to me when we were sitting together in class, she looked at a girl on the other side of the room and she said, "I hate that girl so much, I'm gonna cut her vagina into 1,000,000 fucking pieces." And I just thought, this girl's a hoot. It also means I dated a bit of a fucking nitwit for fucking nearly 9 years of my fucking life. Has anyone pretty much everyone. Has anyone in the audience done that? Dated a bit of a nitwit? Yeah. I dated a bit of a nitwit. Like my ex-boyfriend told me that I look like Gollum, you know? But, like, at least I wasn't fucking someone who looks like Gollum. So, I guess I win. No, he was a very controlling, he was a very violent man. And, things got out of control violent and ended up having to go to a women's domestic violence refuge, And because my ex-partner, he never took accountability for being violent with me. He would just always gaslight me into thinking I was the abusive one. I told him that I was going to a place where abusive women go to learn how not to abuse their partners anymore. And he was like, all right, babe, that sounds great. And he believed it. And I told that to the ladies at the refuge, and they were like, what a dumb cunt. And if a bunch of drug-fucked, low socioeconomic, uneducated women call you a dumb cunt, you're a fucking dumb cunt. You're a fucking dumb cunt. But I'm trying to think of the warning signs I could tell any of you guys. I'm trying to think of the warning signs I could tell you. I guess one warning sign. One thing I was never able to do was I was never able to relax enough to have anal sex with my ex-partner. And I think that was the spirits of my feminist sisters, coming together and tightening my asshole. And being like, have some respect for yourself, bitch. So I'm going to trust, my asshole more and my heart less. In asshole, we fucking trust, ladies. In asshole, we fucking trust. But, but no, but this shit, it can happen to anyone. Man, it can happen to anyone. I'm a social worker during the day. That's what I do. I'm aware I may come across more as someone who should have one. I do have one. But I'm aware, when that ended, I wish I could say, I didn't do anything that I told my clients at work to do. I wish I could say I started doing yoga. I wish I could say I did, started getting counselling. I was just like, I'm just going, no, that's over. Now I'm just going to smoke meth and be a prostitute. God, I'm a goose. Such a goose, But, no. But, at first the prostitution, it was fine, But eventually, guys who looked like a non-famous Steve Buscemi, it's fine to look like Steve Buscemi if you are Steve Buscemi, but you can't just look like him and not be him, I used to say, I got back at my ex because he always used to call me like a fucking slut, he'd always used to call me like a fucking slut, and I was like, well, I'll show you who's a fucking slut, cunt. And I became a prostitute, and then I was like, and then guys who look like Steve Buscemi was fucking me, and I was like, I don't think I'm getting back at him anymore. I don't think that is what's happening, but so. I don't know. I did lots of things to try and restore my sanity over the years. I started seeing a psychologist, But the only thing is I was too anxious to tell the psychologist what my real problems were, so I was just making them up. So I don't know what it's like to walk in on your boyfriend fucking your sister, but when the day comes, I'll have healthy coping mechanisms. So it'll be absolutely fine. And my friend, she was giving me some advice on staying on top of my mental health, right? She said, Sian, what you got to do is you got to have a mental health calendar. And every day you got to put your mood out of 10, and then you got to look back on that week and just do more of what you did on the days you rated the highest, which makes a lot of sense. So it turns out I just got to do a lot more ketamine. And I'll be absolutely fine. But no, and then I got addicted to Xanax at the start of the year. I got addicted to Xanax at the same time. I got addicted to Xanax, and I started to withdraw from Xanax at the start of this year. At the same time, I got that COVID-19, that Omicron at the start of the year. I started to withdraw from Xanax, and I'd never withdrawn from that drug before, because that's the secret to drug use, is you just never stop taking it, and then you just never have to withdraw. And so I had the key, and and so and I started to have all these withdrawing from Xanax symptoms. Is at the same time I was like, having COVID symptoms, and I've actually got proof of it. So I will mention, like, one sign of COVID-19 is fatigue, but I didn't experience that, and I had no idea why. So we'll just play this.
God, I know why I have it. It's a lie. It's because I fucked a bisexual Islamic man in a mosque for $475, and he is punishing me. This part about this COVID shit is the not sleeping. I can't sleep, and I have to live in it. And I've even had my PTSD medication. I've had twice the dose of it. I've had 60 milligrams of metrazapine. It's 3 a.m. and I still haven't fucking slept. I'm still fucking awake. And just living in this fucking...
So I was having like these COVID symptoms at the same time, and I was like, yeah, like the sore throat, like that fucking sucks, and like the like fucking cough, like that never ends, and the seeing spiders fucking everywhere. Like this Omicron's fucking nuts, and like stealing money from your parents for drugs, like this Omicron, and I've been selling my ass. I've been selling my ass. Like, they didn't warn you about that in the 7 o'clock news, But like, it's so easy to sell your ass when you're on Xanax, because you're so fucking relaxed. So, yeah, but, no, thanks for coming out. So, I don't know. So I don't know. I guess I had to do something, So I don't know. I've never believed in a God. I'm an atheist. I've never believed in a God because he probably wouldn't like me, But no, I've never really believed in a God. The Christians would often say that God was like a father, and I really related to that because, like my father, he's not there. So the similarities are just insane, but I think like a power greater than yourself, that can be really anything. That can be really a power greater than yourself. Like, when you're sick, when you have a cough and you go to the doctor, like the doctor is a power that's greater than yourself because he can help you with that. Or the medicine is a power that's greater than yourself, So when I stopped using drugs, I was like, well, I think the people that know more than me are other like recovering addicts, So to me, God is a Centrelink bludger. A Centrelink bludger with borderline personality disorder on the methadone program, And my Holy Trinity is, instead of like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, it's Centrelink borderline personality disorder and the methadone program, But Centrelink, it is like a God it is like a father, not a God, kind of, but like it is like a father to addicts, because most of us like either never had our dads or we don't have our dads anymore, and like then Centrelink it just keeps giving you the money that your dad could give you, that your dad who's not there could have given you, and they just keep giving you money and then it enables it, and then you can call them a dog cunt as much as you want. And they'll just still keep giving you money. You'll be like, dog cunt! And they'll be like, you just have to report your earnings. You'll be like, dog cunt! And then suddenly it's back on. How crazy is that? It's so nuts. But, no. But, since I've also had to, I've had to look at my behaviour over the last little while. I've had to look at my behaviour and, like the thing about meth, right? The thing about meth is it's like your dad never left you. but like eventually you just get paranoid, right? Like you just start to think that like everyone can read your thoughts. But you don't realise that if everyone could read your thoughts, all they'd be able to read is everyone can read my thoughts. And people do know your thoughts. They do, because you're screaming them outside a cafe at 6 a.m. and they really wish you'd shut the fuck up. And And I like the thing, and like I don't know, like it just makes you think that you're like the best person in the world. It makes you think that you're fucking best person in the world, but you're like the worst person in the world. You know, you'll like be smoking like a crack pipe behind a dumpster, and you'll be like, oh fuck you, Miss Ingrid from grade 3. Never said I'd never amount to anything. Like if the haters could see me now. Oh, even the CIA want to know my thoughts, cunt, you know. Hey, you think you're fucking Elon Musk, man. You think you're fucking Elon Musk. But you're Elon Musk. You're not Elon Musk. You're Elon Musk. Stop smoking crack. Elon Musk, clean up his life. So, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, admitting, I don't know. That can be a hard one. I reckon admitting the wrongs can be a hard one. Hey, like, have you noticed in, like, gambling rooms to, like, stop problem gamblers, they have, like, think about your family and, like, think about your choices? And I, like, just don't know if that's the best way to stop problem gamblers. Like, by reminding them of their family and their choices. Because I kind of feel like their family and their choices are like the reason they're fucking there. Like, what are the odds of you winning the jackpot? Like, the same odds they have of having a healthy relationship with their dad. It's just, you know, it's just whatever. But I was reading an article the other day, and it was about how like porn has ruined our sexuality, you know. And I didn't really feel like it applied to me, but I read the article anyway. And then, like, halfway through the article, they just started to, like, dot point all the problematic things in porn. And as I read through the dot points, I just felt myself get, like, more and more turned on. You know, so she, like, proved her point, you know, but I didn't finish the article. I know. It's a funny one. You know, my mum knows about all of this, except the meth stuff, but she's going to find out because it's getting filmed. But, whatever. But she knows about most of it, you know. And, you know, my mum, she is, like, one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, you know. But also, like, the most, and I'm trying to find a nice, but the most fucking retarded, you know, like she is so lovely, you know, but, you know, when I was going through, like, all my there was one thing that I noticed that all us girls in the refuge, when I was in the DV refuge, had in common. There was two things that all we had in common. Like, I was the only one in the arts, but there were two things that we all had in common. And that was our dads leaving us and our mums not knowing how to handle when we were in a crisis, you know? And when that was all, like, coming to a head, I said to my mum, I said, you know, Mum, I told you when he raped me. Why didn't you tell me to leave him then? And my mum was like, Shan, I forgot. Oh, you forgot. You might want to jot that one down. You know, Mum, you might want to put that one in the diary, baby girl, you know? But she's very supportive of me. She's supportive of everything that I do. Even when it came to the prostitution, she was supportive of that. Maybe too supportive, you know. I remember I called her from the brothel one day, and I was like, "Hey, Mum, I'm in the brothel, but I want to come home now. But I got a booking." And my mum was like, "Oh, Shan, you got to stay for the booking." Are you sure you can just leave? What will your boss say? What, the guy that's selling me ice? I don't... and she was, like, you know, and I can just imagine my mum, because she's always brought me up as, like, you know, like, stick to your commitments and blah, 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 blah. And I can just imagine her, like, hanging up the phone and being like, look, I know it can be a bit hard on her sometimes, but I don't want her to go off the rails, you know? I want her to get railed. I want her to get... And you know, She's really strict with me. She's really fucking strict with me. Like, she doesn't like me using certain words. She doesn't like me swearing. I'll give you an example of my mum. So this is that my mum doesn't like bad words.
Am I retarded?
Shan, I don't like you using that word.
What, retard?
Yeah, it's a very rude word and it's not a complimentary word.
Yeah, you know, so I can't say that. She's like, get those dirty words out of your mouth, Shan, and suck dick for money. You know, but that's just my mum. So So yeah, I don't know. One thing about me, which you might not have noticed, is I'm not extremely PC. I'm not a very PC person. It has gotten me nearly banned from this room and nearly banned from Finbar's room. But whatever. Look at the crowd I have tonight, cunt. You're not going to ban me again. Where was I? No, like I don't know. I use the word prostitute. People say you should use the word sex worker. People say you should use the word sex worker. You shouldn't use the word prostitute. And I'd even have clients tell me, you shouldn't use the word. You should be using the word sex worker. You shouldn't use the word prostitute. And it's like, okay, shouldn't you? Okay, Mr. Virtuous, shouldn't you not be cheating on your wife? and like when you go home to her tonight and she finds out about this and she says, Gary, have you been fucking prostitutes? Are you going to say, honey, I've been fucking sex workers? You don't need to be such a fucking bigot, But okay. No, I don't know. And then, I don't know, shortcomings. I think I've gotten a bit confused. I'm sorry. So I'm just going to skip that and we will... It's all right. I haven't done them all yet, but I'm still doing a show about it. That's just what I'm like. And, So I've had to think about the people that I've harmed. I've had to think about the people that I harmed in like active addiction. And I remembered one time I told my mate, I said to my best friend, I said, hey babe, you should come like work at the brothel with me. And she was like, oh babe, I don't know if I could do that, because I'm a lesbian. And I was like, that's fine babe, you can just smoke meth. And she was like, oh, Sian, I don't know. I'm going to have to think about it, because she's a bit of an idiot, but so she still had to think about it. And it was like, what's there to think about? What could you possibly have to think about? I didn't think about any of this. I didn't think about this for 1 second. I did not think about any of this. Okay, maybe, again, I was Elon Musk. Stop trying to pimp out her friends, just because you're in the gutter, although the gutter can be a lot more fun if someone else is there with you, right? So, yeah. All right. And we've had to, you don't have to, I don't know. But we should be, we should say sorry when we are dishonest and, there's some people I don't think I should really apologise to. When I was working at the brothel, I was working at this brothel and I used to take money out of the guys' wallets when I didn't find them attractive. And it was what I called an ugly tax. And I don't really think I can call up that guy and be like, hey, Finbar. Hey, Finbar. So when you were crying in the shower because you're bad at communicating your emotions and that's why you hire sex workers and we didn't even fuck but you're just sad. I just wanted to let you know that I stole $100 out of your wallet in what I call an ugly tax because I find you repugnant. Anyway, hope you're well. Hope your wife's okay. Yeah, man. I don't know. They say, I don't know. One of my favourite philosophers is a guy called Nietzsche. And he says, when you're fighting monsters, don't become one. When you're fighting monsters, don't become one. And I think like be sure that you don't become one, you know. And I think that's good to be mindful of. And when I was going, you know, and when I was going through DV, I did when I had to leave him, I did start to become like very angry and very like ugh. And I you know, and when I also got into this other philosopher, which was the DV hotline at that time, another great philosopher. And they said, Sian, there's actually 4 types of, you know, fear responses. And it's, you know, it's freeze. What is it? It's like, there's someone in the audience would know it. Yeah, Emily's frozen. She's passed out. And anyway, so there's flight, fright, freeze, and friend, you know. And they said, Sian, you're actually friend. So I try to like befriend the great white shark. You know, I try and befriend the great white shark. And when I was going through it, I told a really good friend of mine about everything that was going on. And I was still like to my friends at the time, now I'm not like that, you have to all fucking hate that cunt. But at the time, I was like, you have to be friends with him. You have to be friends with him. I'm going to tell you this, and you have got to be friends with him. And she was the one friend that was kind of honest with me at the time and put her foot down and said, Sian, I'm not going to be friends with him. And she was like, Sian, and I was like, why? And then she was like, Sian, I'm not going to be friends with a rapist. And I was like, you're crazy. You are nuts, you know. And this drove me fucking insane. It drove me fucking insane, you know. And I actually texted her boyfriend, and I said, dump that stupid slut. And then I was like, you know what? Her boyfriend liked me before. He started dating her, and I'm going to resent fuck her boyfriend. I'm going to resent fuck her boyfriend, you know. And actually, I went out to lunch with this girl the other day, and it was like, yeah, do you want to spend more time with me, babe? You know, and, you know, it's like I just had to be like, a babe, upon reflection on that incident, I was the dumb slut. I was the stupid slut. You know? But, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I think, like, in times of, like, great suffering, we turn to 2 things, right? We either turn to, like, drugs or God, right? It's drugs or God. Like, when we look at the countries that, like, suffer the most, it's like Afghanistan, you know, and when we look at the countries that suffer the most, like Afghanistan, they're usually the most religious, and they're also, but though I got told that Afghanistan has a terrible heroin problem, you know, and it's like, you know, I don't think that's their biggest problem. You know, I think the only problem they have is that the heroin is probably not good enough to blind out the sounds of the bombs, you know, they need some strong shit for that. But what else? Just wait. Thanks for your patience. Just tell me how amazing I am until I get to the next one. No. So you know, and you know, when I got into like early recovery, it's not like when you get into recovery, your life is suddenly awesome again. It's not like it's suddenly fucking sick, you know. Like you've still got like the socioeconomic status of a drug user, but you just don't have any drugs, you know. So like you're still sleeping on like a mattress on the floor with no sheet on it, but you just don't have any drugs. And it's like this, you have to deal with this sober now. You know, guys who look like Steve Buscemi still fucked you. You know, like that, like the thing that made that go away, and you just have to live in it, you know, and it, you know, so, and like, you know, one of my friends, he's trying not to use drugs as well. He was talking to me and he was like, oh man, like I'm hooking up with this fucking like really hot chick, man. She's like super hot. She's so fucking hot, and she's like a journalist. And I was like, oh, that's mad. Like I'm so fucking happy for you, man. And he was like, yeah. She drinks hand sanitizer though. And I was like, see, babe, like this is why we're in recovery. Because, like, you know, we can, like, fuck super hot chicks and they can be, like, journalists, but, like, they're gonna be drinking hand sanitizer. You know, and I had a reflection on myself in that, and I was like, wait a second, Sian, you're friends with people who are fucking chicks who drink hand sanitizer. Like, that is also your socioeconomic status right now, you know. But yeah. I don't know. Like, I don't know. But I don't think that people who use drugs are bad. Like there's a girl right in the front there who said she loved me, and you know, I don't think people. Like, I remember. Like, do you remember drug and alcohol drug and alcohol when you were in school? Like drug and alcohol education when you were in school. Yeah. And they'd always be like, you know, people who take drugs are losers. You know, they'd say, people, you don't take drugs because drugs are for losers. But I also think if you've like never ever taken drugs, you're an even bigger fucking loser. Like, just suck some cock in an alleyway for crack and get a personality. You know, and but you know, I also think that like I have a lot of gratitude. I have a lot of gratitude all the time. I even had gratitude, you know, when I was in addiction. I had gratitude. Like there's always a positive, you know. Like I worked at the world's dodgiest brothel, man. I worked at the world's dodgiest brothel, and I knew it was the world's dodgiest brothel because I worked there, you know. And the manager also sold ice, and so that also gave it away. And the guy that ran the brothel, he'd always call me Western girl. You know, he'd always call me Western girl. He'd say, "You're the Western girl. You're my Western girl." And he'd always say to the clients when they came in, "You have to pay more for the Western girl," you know. And I think that proves, right, that even at the very, very fucking bottom, there's still a tiny bit of white privilege. But, yeah, you know, and so I'll just leave you on this, that, yeah, you know, happiness comedy can be found even in the darkest of times. This is me doing a stand-up set at a women's domestic violence refuge. Or is it not there? Oh my God, it's not there.
Stand up at the refuge in front of 2 people, my audience members. Hello? These are my audience members. They kind of got it. They heckled me a lot. Do you enjoy my stand-up?
Really good.
Yeah.
Best I've ever heard. You put Carl Barron to shame.
Oh, fuck yeah.